When I became Prime Minister last July, I felt that the most important thing was stability for the country. We'd had the referendum, which had come out with a result in terms of voting to leave the EU that hadn't been expected. Obviously, David Cameron had resigned. I'd taken over as Conservative Party leader and Prime Minister. And I felt it was important to have a period of stability at that stage and to ensure that the British people could have confidence that their government was going to deliver on what they'd voted for, which was leaving the European Union. And so getting through that process of the early work of preparation for and then triggering Article 50 was very important. When it came to triggering Article 50, around that time, it became clear the extent to which the opposition parties in Westminster were intent on what I would describe as frustrating the Brexit process, because Brexit isn't just about the letter that says we want to leave. It's about negotiating the deal. It's about getting the right deal from Europe. And, when we've been told by the Liberal Democrats they want to grind the government to a standstill, Labour threatening to vote against the deal, the SNP, the Scottish Nationalists, saying they would vote against us legislating to leave the European Union, I felt it was important that the country is united. I think there's a unity of purpose in the country.
You're blaming the opposition for your change of mind. I mean, you've changed your mind. You said something and you're now saying exactly the opposite. And let's be clear, it is only a matter of weeks ago that you said in Scotland, now is not the time, you said. All our energies should be focused on our negotiations with the European Union. Everything you've just described, you knew when you said that.
Yeah. What we are now going to be able to do, I believe, with this election is actually strengthen our position in terms of our negotiations with the European Union.
Strengthen why?
If I'll just come on to that, I think people have a unity of purpose. The public want us to actually deliver on leaving the European Union, and they want us to build that stronger Britain for the future beyond leaving the European Union. That's what having an election now, it gives us that opportunity for stability and certainty for that longer period.
Let me explore your reasons, if I may. You blamed your opponents just now. You blamed them yesterday. Just explain to people, how many times have you been defeated in the House of Commons on Brexit?
We got the Article 50 legislation through.
None. No defeats.
No defeats in the House of Commons.
A majority of 384. So where are these divisions in Westminster that are doing you so much damage?
Well, let's just look at what has happened over the last 9 months or so, Nick. When we took Article 50 legislation through, it's very clear, and we were able to say to people that this was delivering on the vote of the British people in the referendum. They wanted us to trigger Article 50. They wanted us to get on with the job of putting Brexit into practice, of actually leaving the European Union. But what became clear around that time was, yes, people voted in the House of Commons to trigger that process, but they were intent on frustrating the necessary things that we have to do afterwards.